Don Quixote, Miguel de Cervantes. Once upon a time, in a small village in Spain, there lived an old man named Alonso Quixano. This man was so obsessed with reading old chivalric tales that, after a while, he started to believe he was a knight himself. He took on the name Don Quixote and began to think that his mission was to fight against the evils of the world and protect the innocent. Don Quixote donned an old, battered suit of armor, wore a makeshift helmet, and made a frail horse named Rocinante his steed. In his eyes, Rocinante was a war horse, and he himself was a brave knight. On his chivalric quest, he needed a squire, so he brought along a peasant named Sancho Panza. Sancho, though aware of Don Quixote's madness, enjoyed the idea of going on adventures with him. Sancho traveled on a donkey and joined the journey with the hope that Don Quixote's promises would make him the governor of an island one day. During their adventures, Don Quixote and Sancho Panza became involved in many funny and tragicomic incidents. Don Quixote mistook windmills for giant monsters and launched an attack on them, only to be thrown to the ground by the windmill's blades. In another adventure, he arrived at an inn and mistook it for a castle, and the innkeeper, finding his delusion amusing, knighted him in a mock ceremony. Don Quixote believed he saw injustice everywhere. He was ready to fight villains, but most of the time, he was only battling in his own imagination. He developed a deep love for a peasant girl named Dulcinea, though Dulcinea was, in reality, a figment of his imagination. He tried to perform all sorts of heroic deeds in her honor. Sancho was often bewildered by Don Quixote's fantasy world, but remained loyal to him. Though he frequently tried to bring Don Quixote back to reality, Don Quixote continued to see himself as a noble knight. In the end, after many defeats and hardships, Don Quixote decided to return home. When he arrived, he seemed to regain his senses. He no longer saw himself as a knight, but all the adventures he had experienced gave meaning to his life. Don Quixote finally said farewell to the world and his dreams, living in peace. Moral: the story of Don Quixote reflects the clash between idealism, the world of dreams, and reality. No matter how grand our dreams are, sometimes we face the limits of the real world. But that doesn't mean we should stop dreaming, and follow for more.